In making an argument, originality is hard to come by in debates of certain topics. Although making the same argument as someone else is not wrong or against the rules, I do believe it is wrong to use almost their exact same words to make up the vast majority of your own argument. I would like to mention that this was done by my opponent, and I want to question the validity of one of the two articles that she cited. I'm proposing the idea that her opposition should be rejected due to contradictions between her evidence and suggestions, for using as evidence an article that is simply someone else's opinion, and for failing to cite all her sources. Midway throughout her argument, my opponent began to heavily quote and refer to at least one study or article that was not cited. I am not sure if she also used the source of information to recite chunks of words directly from it, but I definitely think that was the case, especially since it was done earlier in her statement. The first article from which my opponent so evidently repeated words from is an article found in the US News website under the Opinions tab. My opponent's initial opposition was based entirely on an article of very questionable validity, since it is nothing but the expressed opinion of another person. Her arguments are exactly the same as the ones found in the article. The only noted difference is the fact that she changed some of the words and flipped the order of the identical reasons as to why the ban on sugary drinks is bad. The initial half of my opponent's argument provides information on how the ban on drinks is ineffective. Although for some parts of her initial argument, my opponent cited a different article, one of more validity since it was published in Time magazine and based on more credible studies, she still did not introduce any ideas of her own, as she was clearly reciting almost whole paragraphs from this article. The problem is again not a lack of originality, but the contradiction that some of her information holds against the proposals she made towards the end of her own argument. The Times Magazine article that she so directly quoted states that where sugary drinks are banned, students were still able to acquire those drinks in school, which meant that the teachers and other faculty members were participated in the prohibition of these banned goods to students, and also that others knew about it and chose to do nothing. Their actions prove the weakness of my opponent's statement, which regards the ineffectiveness of sugary drink bans that are not accompanied by local help. She claimed bans without the help of the community do not have positive effects. Instead, she proposed that improving the health education and more marketing towards healthier choices was the better option. However, that option relies strongly on the support of community members who clearly will not help. The ban is ineffective because the very people that my opponent mentioned should help, teachers, principals, and other school workers, are already not helping the little effort provided by the ban. Instead, they are helping to negate its positive effects. So how can we sit back and trust these same people, as my opponent suggests, to educate our children on better nutrition and urge them to make healthier and better choices when their own actions go against that? How can we trust them to uphold more comprehensible policies when, as stated in my opponent's articles, they already do not uphold the ban? I think that the ban is somewhat more ineffective because of their lack of compliance to it. The ban of sugary drinks is not a dilution of responsibilities. On the contrary, it is a part of the very few real attempts that have been made to improve the health of our children.